Yo, what is good, guys? My name is D-Free, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video, in which today we're going to be reviewing the latest episode number 36, in which Vegeta versus Vegeta gets real hot and sticky and sweaty, like the room. I'm not even going to go there. Rated G, baby. But basically what happens is Vegeta and Vegeta, once again, they get hot and steamy, and, there's some sweat going on. All right, never mind. Basically, the fight continues where it left off. There's really not a lot that goes on in this episode, to be honest. But as we knew last time, the cube that they created around the arena was there to give Vegeta a tactical advantage in the fight. And it's basically proving to be a huge hindrance for Vegeta. Vegeta he can't move around freely. It's limiting his space. And the way that the ring is set up, it ventilates air out towards the bottom area. And that's beneficial if you're closer to that area, like towards the arena ground, but Vegeta obviously can't go down there because that's to Vegeta's advantage. So him being higher, of course, the heat is rising, so he's basically at a disadvantage, however you want to look at it. But nonetheless, what happens is Vegeta at this point, he tries to attack Vegeta, of course, and he breaks out the signature Galagun, Super Galagun, if you will. And he's like, I'm going to end it with this. And Vegeta is such a beast. I said so last time that I love Vegeta's character. He flat out tanks the Super Galagun. He does. He tanks it and he overpowers Vegeta in a beam struggle, air quotes up, because what happened was he tanked it by shooting lava. Now, the lava ultimately overpowered the Super Galagun. That's what I'm saying. You'd think by nature that the energy would be stronger, but whatever, Dragon Ball logic, right? So he overpowers him, and then Vegeta has the lava in his face. He's like, no, you're not going to get me with this. So he raises his hand to slice it in half to get it out of his way. But what Vegeta does is he picks up the molten lava that had hardened due to the air. He picks it up and he basically makes it like a club, if you will. And he smacks Vegeta down, and Vegeta lands outside of the ring. Okay, so at this point, Champa's got his troll face on. He's always got the troll face on. He's always like, Beerus, are you mad, Beerus? You got the troll face on. I love Champa so much. But what happens at this point is the ref jumps down there. They're like, oh, Vegeta lost, Vegeta lost. The ref jumps down there. He's like, no, he's safe. Basically what happened is Vegeta landed on a broken piece of the ring outside of the ring. So technically, since he's still on top of the ring, he's still in the ring, which is, I call bullshit, but whatever. So, from there, there's a technicality, but from there, Vegeta gets back in the ring, and he's pissed off at this point. He's fuming. He was like, somebody like me needs to be saved by the rules. He's fuming. He is pissed off because, he didn't expect to be pushed to a corner. He basically lost, okay? And Vegeta, as we know, he's a very prideful person. He's always been, even though he's humbled himself in Dragon Ball Super a lot to like an astronomical level. I mean, he got on one knee to beg Whis for training. He put on an apron and everything. He's a very prideful guy. He's still very prideful. So that right there ticked him off. And at that point, he was like, no. This shit isn't going to happen. And what he does is he basically powers up hard enough to where he breaks the barrier around the arena. Now, that thing is anything but indestructible. In fact, it's purposely not indestructible because Vados asked Champa when she was constructing it if he wanted it to be, and he said no. So I guess Champa just keeps shooting himself in the foot in this tournament. And Vados just lets him fall on his face. She's so awesome. But basically what happens is from there, Vegeta breaks the arena. These glass shatters just flying everywhere. And it's funny too because Vegeta has no concern for anybody else there, like the Earthlings and the guys that we're accustomed to, like Bulma, his family, These shards just go flying at them. He doesn't give a shit. But Whis pops in, and it's always awesome seeing Whis step in and do something, as opposed to just sitting there. But he steps in, protects everybody, and the funny part is the glass shatters, and it basically goes in a silhouette around Monaka, and everybody was like, wow, Monaka, that's why Beerus regards him as the strongest guy. He didn't even move. He didn't flinch or anything. I feel like they're just playing with him. They're having too much fun with Monaka's character at this point. But at that point, Vegeta breaks out the final flash. This is a very nostalgic episode. I know Marcus said Dragon Ball has been very nostalgic, to date, Dragon Ball Super, but this was a very nostalgic episode with the moves that they're breaking out, especially like this tournament in general. We saw Piccolo bringing out the arm stretching, the multi-form, the special beam cannon, the Makanko Sapo, because a lot of people can't say that word right. But, this has been a very nostalgic tournament, so to say. And we're bringing out the final flash, and it didn't charge up like in Dragon Ball Z. He got it off in like 15 seconds. In Dragon Ball Z, he would have charged that for 2 episodes, but he gets it off, he shoots it at Magetta, and honestly, Magetta tanks that shit too. Magetta is savage. That's why I said he's like my second favorite character. He tanks it. And then from there, what happens is basically Vegeta bum rushes him. He's like, this is over. And then he calls him a piece of junk. Magetta gets all wide-eyed and he knocks Magetta out the ring. Magetta then loses. Vegeta rushes over to Whis, gets a big-ass jug of water. He chugs it down, some comedic relief there. And that's when Whis says, hey, these guys are basically very thin-skinned. If you say something to insult them, they can't fight anymore. That's their weakness, their crutch, because that race is incredibly powerful. I love everything about Magetta, his abilities, his strength. He was on par with Vegeta. Think how strong Vegeta is. Even in his Super Saiyan form, he was going blow for blow with him. That is a very strong character, and I can't wait to see him in other games and stuff like that, and other merchandise and memorabilia and whatnot. But basically, at this point, Cabba steps up, and he's like, yo, I'm next. And Goku was like, well, Vegeta, you know that you could have won, right? If you had gone full out. Basically the same thing that Vegeta said to Goku, but he said you could have won if you went all out. And what happens is they pan around to Hit, just sitting there with his eyes closed, just looking completely disinterested, like he's looked this whole time. I think he only opened his eyes one time when they went Super Saiyan, and he was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But then he closed his eyes again as if to say he's not interested in that either. But they're like interested in Hit. They know something's going on with him, or it's either that they know something is going on with him, or they know that he's strong and they feel disrespected. That's how I kind of view it. They feel like they're disrespected because he's not even watching this. He just doesn't give a shit. It's almost like he knows they're too weak. So when I'm assuming in the next episode, shout out to the next episode. I'm not going to talk too much about it here, but Cabe seems to have gotten forced into Super Saiyan. Obviously he's a Saiyan, so he'd still have the transformation despite being from a different universe. But basically Vegeta's going to go Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan for the first time in the tournament. And I feel like at that point, Hit's going to start paying attention to these guys, and he'll realize that they were holding back significantly. But let me know your thoughts on the episode. It was definitely a fun episode. The animation was solid for the most part. There was only one really bad part, and it was so bad, but it was like, okay, whatever. It was a Vados moment after, I don't know what it was, but it was a Vados moment. I tweeted it, and I was like, yeah, this isn't a still frame or nothing. They were like this for solid 6 or 7 seconds, having full-on dialogue, but everything else has been okay with the series. I'm enjoying it nonetheless, but I hope that you guys enjoyed the review. That is it for me. Peace out.